Thanks for pausing everything for this week's episode of the Saber Roar. I'm Whitty.
And I'm Ali. In today's show, we're going to be telling you about a new mental health resource available to Franklin students. Check in with the Eco Club, as well as highlight Black history and finally find out what the weather is like.
Starting this year, Franklin Public Schools is now in a partnership with Clinical Psychology Associates to provide on-site mental health clinics for our students.
The district is providing space for mental health clinics in FHS, Forest Park, Countrydale, and Pleasant View.
Support and access to a mental health provider is increasingly important for students and families.
The proximity to students will alleviate some of the barriers to seeking therapy, such as distance and time out of school. This partnership is part of the district's comprehensive plan of social-emotional learning. Social-emotional learning is how children understand and manage emotions, have positive relationships, show empathy, and make responsible decisions.
In order for a student to learn, they have to feel safe. They have to feel like they're in a space where they can focus and provide the energy they need to in order to learn effectively. And sometimes things like depression, anxiety, the ability to cope with a situation that's going on, that some additional support's needed to help students be successful and remove those barriers so that they're ready to learn.
If you or someone you know wishes to take advantage of in-school therapy, contact Clinical Psychology Associates at 262-975-0012 to arrange a meeting. To get to where we are in the Saber Roar, we took intro and advanced video production. In intro, we learned the basics of news stories. Do you remember what your freshman year news story was?
Yeah, I did mine about the lunch prices. It took a lot of hard work, but in the end, I was proud of it.
Mr. Clark's been telling me a lot about how great the news stories are this year. Here's one by Eco Club that really went above and beyond, by Belle, Liermann.
On a chilly Saturday morning in December, the members of FHS's own Eco Club are hard at work removing buckthorn from the Lulu Lake Nature Conservancy. This project is just one of many to fall in the Eco Club's lap.
We do things local like the Milwaukee County Parks, the Hunger Task Force, the Conservancy for Healing and Heritage. We've done anything from picking up trash to releasing animals into the wild and everything in between. More often than not, we're doing stuff that's land stewardship based, so removal of invasive species has been real big.
Invasive plant species can destroy the natural Wisconsin habitat. As part of their removal here at the Lulu Lake Nature Conservancy, the members are picking up their tools, hacking away at the buckthorn, and covering the stump with herbicide to ensure it doesn't return.
It obviously does good things for the environment and helps put things the way they need to be for that balance to exist.
But the benefits of this work extend beyond the ecological.
I think it's important because it's not about a push for bettering yourself financially or bettering yourself as far as status goes. It's just you're bettering yourself because it's the right thing to do. So it's making myself, students, anybody who does it ethically strong.
And the members are more than happy to work, because what they may lack in payment is made up for in kindness, selflessness, and a desire to leave the world a better place.
Great job, Belle. Now that was Saber Roar level. You can catch more intro class stories on our intro show, where we're going to give intro students a chance to host.
Good, I've been needing a break. Hey, is it kind of cold in the studio? Do you know what the weather's like?
Well, could go find out.
We could.
Now, time going by, we should be moving out of our winter months and getting into summer pretty soon here. Oh, my suit.
Cold out there.
A little bit, just a little cold. All right, let's just get done with this.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Just start from the top.
All right, yeah, let's go for it.
Cool. Thanks, Whitty. Oh, that's my name.
Wrong seats.
That's embarrassing.
You ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Whitty.
As we continue through Black History Month, it's important to remember the time of segregation and how it affected African Americans' opportunities. In this case, the segregation of higher education and the beginning of historical Black colleges.
Before the Civil Rights Act of 1964, colleges and universities were one of the many examples of discrimination and segregation. The vast majority of higher education institutions were predominantly white and were very restrictive and even prohibited African Americans from attending. This gave rise to what is now known as the Historically Black Colleges and Universities, or HBCUs. Although these institutions were called universities or institutes, a major part of their mission in the early years was to provide elementary and secondary schooling for students who had no previous education. It was not until the early 1900s that HBCUs began to offer courses and programs at a post-secondary level. In 1862, the federal government had passed an act called the Morrill Act, which allowed colleges to be built in every state. However, the southern states did not want to integrate the schools and wanted to remain segregated. The government then passed the second Morrill Act in 1890, requiring states who excluded African Americans from the established colleges to build separate institutions for them to attend. Throughout the first half of the 20th century, HBCUs thrived. They attracted some of the best African American students to Howard, Morehouse, Spelman, and Tuskegee University. Many of the nation's top African American doctors, lawyers, dentists, and other professionals came from these schools, and many of the best African American teachers and professors had to come to HBCU to have an opportunity to teach, as they were unable to go to any other college. The HBCUs also proved useful in the classroom flight training of the Tuskegee Airmen. They were the first African American fighter pilots who would become one of the most highly respected fighter groups of World War II. Although HBCUs are only 3% of colleges in the U.S., 24% of African American grads in STEM fields come from HBCUs, and about 35% of students earn a bachelor's in fields of science, math, and physics. With the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, school segregation came to an end. The doors to all schools were open to all students, at least by law. This wasn't always the case in practice, though. HBCUs have a great history and famous alumni attending, including W.E.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King Jr., Spike Lee, Oprah Winfrey, and many more. Today, these schools are attended by students of many backgrounds.
There are still over 100 historically black colleges across the country, offering associate's and doctoral degrees.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at the Saber Roar to stay up to date with all things Saber Roar.
Thanks for watching, Franklin. We'll see you next time, and have a great week.